Y'all, I forgot that I was on live and I'm on here not saying nothing, just looking at the screen, looking crazy. How is everybody? It's tea time. We gotta talk, y'all. Things are so crazy. Ooh, I love this lip. Where is everyone? Y'all don't see me. I've never been on here this long and nobody sees me. Hey, Shauna. How are you? What's going on? Happy Saturday. Y'all, it's been a crazy week. I feel so heavy. So, I've been struggling to post. Cause just, am I the only one that feels like that? Aw, girl, I was rushing this morning, because I had to do like a couple. Y'all are gonna laugh at me. So I get these things from TikTok Shop, and if I don't like them, I just click I don't like it. And they don't make you send it back, but I've offered to send it back, right? So I got these things that I really, really liked, and I've been using them, but I didn't post about them because I liked them. So finally, I was like, okay, it's due today. Like, I actually need to make a post. So I had to make a post about like 3 different things. And I was like, I hate to spam my thing with posts uh, of TikTok shop videos because like I'm not really like a TikTok shop like creator, like my whole content is that. So I was just kind of like feeling really bad to like post about it, if that makes sense. Like if I would have done one like on Monday, one on maybe like Wednesday, or one today, I would have felt fine about that. But I was like, why do I wait to the last minute? I am such a procrastinator. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, y'all. How is everybody doing? I know it's been like a crazy week. There's so much going on. Did you guys hear about that school shooting in Colorado? Hey. It's been crazy. Like everything seems, I don't know, it just, I feel heavy. And I don't know how to explain that. Like I feel heavy in terms of just the state of the world. Like I don't know. It's just, and every time we turn around there's a school shooting, and that's like so scary, you know? It's just so much going on. The world just seems, don't you ever wish you were a kid again? Like I just feel like I wish I was a kid again. Like I don't know. You know when your parents used to tell you stay in a child's place, and you couldn't wait to turn 18 to be grown. And now you're like, I'm grown, and you like, adulthood is the most ghetto hood I've ever been in. So you know what's funny is I am Jamaican. I have my citizenship, but I haven't gotten my, well, I applied for it, it hasn't came yet. I don't, I think if I would move anywhere, I was actually thinking of going to like Europe. Now I do love Jamaica, and the education is great in Jamaica. I just don't know if I could do the heat all the time. I know, it just seems so, it seems so crazy. And you know what keeps like sticking out to me is, do you guys remember when Tupac said that government is the biggest mafia? And that's both sides of the fence. Um, and he was like, you know, basically saying like they say that people have are the mafia, but he was like they're the biggest mafia. I've always thought that. Like I've never felt like, I feel like we always pick a side kind of because we have to. But if we really realize, like, facts, facts, like, and I really, it's crazy. It's crazy when you really realize that. What is on my lips? It's so crazy. It's like a glitter or something. It's just crazy. Hey, Lulu. It's just very interesting when it clicks to you that you're like, But it feels like such a heavy week, and I feel like that's something that I'm like, wow. But I know it'll all be okay. They say, what? Everything always works itself out. Even though that sounds so cliche, and I know it does, I feel like it always does. And I feel like right now it seems very cliche, but my mom has always told me that, and it's always worked out. So we will say that it will, right? Anyway, my podcast drops on Monday, finally. It took me very long, well, for a couple of reasons. Ivory had some personal things going on, then I had some stuff, and then we finally just got the ball rolling. And the same thing is wrong with my face that is wrong with your face. I'm gonna keep saying this. Y'all could come on this internet and try to troll me. I don't give a damn about what people have to say about me. And if y'all really realize that, you'd stop trolling. Because I really don't care. Like, you can say whatever you want to say about me, but you're behind a screen, probably in your mama's basement with no job, trolling me. So who's the real crazy person? You can't even show your face. Don't you find that odd? You have an issue with my face, but you come on my live to talk shit. You seem like a fan. It's giving fan behavior. Like, that's what it's giving. Okay, all right. You feel like I have a mask. Does that make you feel better? You don't even have a picture, so what does that say? I know, it always makes me laugh when people on the internet like come on and want to talk smack, because I just like, you're on my stuff talking to me. That's crazy. Like, that's just nuts. Hey, long time no see, honey. I think you should take your own advice and maybe head out of here, because okay, that's like going to somebody's house and telling them to get lost. Like, did you think that through? You know, I'm at a point where I'm starting to, and I know this is going to probably come off really bad, but I'm starting to feel like a lot of people have undiagnosed learning disabilities, because it seems as though comprehension seems so hard. And for the longest, I'm like, am I slow? Like, I don't understand stuff. But no, I feel like people really have a lack of awareness and comprehension, which is why they don't really understand what's going on. So they can't read the room. So they just say stuff because they don't get it. Like, I could never see myself going into somebody's live to talk shit. I just I don't have enough time on my hands or enough care. I don't know which one it is, but maybe both. That's crazy. People are really funny. The internet is a very funny place. Um it's everything just seems very, I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. Am I the only one that feels like that? Y'all, I was gonna post this story time. Actually, I did the story time. I posted it on TikTok, but I didn't post it on here yet. I'm gonna tell you guys about it because I think it's so crazy. Um, so I grew up in the church, okay, and so I went to a I went to a private school, but I also went to a church that wasn't. They weren't affiliated with each other. So it's crazy because I was sitting back last night thinking, and it's so weird when you think about, when you reflect on things from your childhood, right? Because the way you perceive things as a kid versus an adult, I feel like sometimes you have an epiphany. Does anyone else feel like that? Where you look back at something, where you thought about something like one way, and you realize, hold on, let me just make things a little bit easier. Okay. And I almost feel like I should at some point do member only lives and make it to where nobody could comment unless you're a member, because it just seems like people be doing too much. But anyway, it's like sometimes you will have a experience in your childhood, and at the time you looked at it like it was like such a crazy experience, and maybe it was a bad experience, but then when you look back at it now as an adult, you reflect on it and you realize that your perception at that time was not, you didn't have the emotional maturity to really grasp the situation. So I'm gonna give y'all a tea time. So I left New York when I believe I was 17. No, because no. I left New York when I was 18, almost 19, because I was transferring colleges. But right before my mom and my brothers moved to Georgia, we went to church, my childhood church, one last time. Craziest thing, so buckle up because it's about to get wild. So I go to my childhood church, and this is the last service that I'm going to at this church, okay? The pastor gets to the church, he gets on the podium, and he says that in the Bible, if something happens within the church, you are to basically announce it to the congregation and condemn it. So me, like, yeah, okay, cool, go ahead, tell us your little bit of tea. I'm thinking it's gonna be something little, okay? So he says that the co-pastor's wife was sleeping with the deacon. Hold your horses, it gets crazier. Now, the co-pastor's daughter and the deacon's son were married to each other. Yes. Okay. So I'm like, clutching my pearls. I'm like, I want my offering back. Like, y'all be doing the most in here. This is a whole soap opera. Hey, Carmen. Hey, Crazy Cat House. So I'm in there and I'm like, what is happening? And it seemed like the whole church got so quiet. Okay. You know, this is the last service that we're attending before my mom moved. So I was kind of like thinking, you know, after service, like I would say bye to my friends and, you know, whatever. Because even though I was staying in New York, I was not likely going to go back to the church, right? So I was like, dang, I can't even really say bye to my friends because, like, this is just such a scandal. I feel like we all just need to head out. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody needs to beeline for the door. Because the pastor's daughter and the deacon's son, they were also part of the youth ministry. They were my youth counselors. So I'm sitting there like in shambles. Okay, like in complete shambles, just trying to put everything together. Now keep in mind, I'm like 16, 17, and I was like, what? And then I'm picturing them like not doing it, but I'm picturing like the families being divided, you know, like Thanksgiving had to be nuts, right? And I'm like, they have to do, like, they're literally, their kids are married to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and both, they were not separated or anything like that. These people were still going to church all the time with their spouses. Okay. So I remember that evening, like, getting in a car and driving home. And I think my mom was trying to find, like, the right words to say to me about them announcing what happened, because I understood but didn't all the way grasp it. I was just seeing, like, confusion, right? And, you know, I always thought to myself, like, I wonder how their kids were able to handle that, being that they were married. You know, like, my mom was sleeping with your dad at the church. Like, they caught, there was footage of the pastor's wife and the deacon in the church. There was footage of it, not just them saying they heard it by somebody, like footage in the church. I want you to sit with that. Yes. So at this time, I'm just like so beyond puzzled, right? Because I grew up very sheltered, and I feel like it kind of shaped me a lot, right? Because when you grow up in the church and you go to private school, you always feel like you're always surrounded by love, right? So, and I will say the church that I went to, I think they were very authentic, very. Like, I realized that last night. Like, I did not ever separate, like, growing up in the church from my school. I always felt like collectively they were the same. But when I was sitting back last night, I realized that the church that I went to, they were very authentic, but the school that I went to wasn't, right? And the school that I went to, I realized that it was very performative, right? And it finally clicked to me, because I feel like I was looking at it overall, like the church just, like, some people live by, they practice what they preach, and some people perform what they preach. Hey, Rachel. And I realized that last night when I was laying down and I started thinking about it. And it's funny, at the time when that scandal came out in church, I was like, why would they, like, this is so awful. But I look back at it and I was like, you know, the fact that they said it, they denounced it, and they moved on, right? Like, I feel like for that to be the last impression, I realized like that was very authentic, right? So during COVID, there was a lot of stuff going on. So I was online, and I used to be heavy on Facebook during COVID. And the pastor of the school that I went to, he was the principal also, he was saying like the most racist stuff on Facebook. And I was shocked. Like, and when I say racist, I mean like full on racist. Like, no, there's no misinterpreting it, there's no misunderstanding, very clear. And I was so mind blown, like mind blown. And I actually wrote a comment underneath his post and unfriended him. He sent me a message after, like, trying to double back on the post, but I couldn't grasp it, because I was like, wow, like everything I grew up knowing, this is not what it is. Like, I don't know, it was like a hard concept to even wrap my mind around. And I know that sounds crazy, but it was, I guess when you put trust into what people say, you take it for just that. Like, I guess when you're authentic and you mean what you say and you say what you mean, you hold other people to those same standards. So when they don't do that, you're kind of taken back. Does that make sense? So you start questioning everything. So I was telling my mom about it, and my mom was like, my mom is one of those people that try to see the best in everybody, and she'll call stuff out, but she'll also kind of like give you a lot of grace. And I feel like she'll give people grace where she should see it for what it is and not anything else. Does that make sense? Yeah, it was a very hard concept, like very hard, because first of all, growing up in private school and in church, you don't really get to see the world for what it is, right? You see the world through the lens of, like, I guess, like a security almost, because you're always around people in the church, right? So you don't really see you don't see the world inside of a lens of being able to see good and bad. Does that make sense? Like, you don't really have a balance at all. You just see things. You're in a bubble. Yes, you're definitely in a bubble. So, like, I feel like my experiences as an adult made me like think to myself, like, wow, this world's not really like the best place. But I remember the first time I realized that, and this is, y'all don't judge me for this. Y'all are finna judge me, because this is so ridiculous. So I was dating this guy. I broke my leg in an open manhole in Atlanta, right? And I couldn't like work, so I couldn't pay my bills. And I didn't want to ask my parents for help because me and my mom were at it. Okay. So, like, I was dating this guy or whatever, and like, I lost the keys to my apartment, and I didn't want to ask the leasing office for another key because my rent wasn't paid. So I would just leave the door open, right? The guy that I was talking to knew this. And y'all, why did he steal the furniture out of my house that I was going to sell? I want you to wrap your mind around it. I struggled so bad with that concept. Like, I remember when I got home and I realized it, I've stood outside in the rain and just sobbed, like full on sobbed. Like when I say sobbed, because it was a reminder to me that the world was painted a certain way to me because of the way I grew up. But I didn't see the world for exactly what it was because I was never in those spaces. Like my mom dropped me off to school. My mom picked me up from school. Like anything that we did, it was within the church or within the school. We didn't, we hung out with the kids in the neighborhood, but the kids that were in our neighborhood, I grew up in one of like the highest middle class Black communities in the nation at the time. And most of their parents were like doctors and lawyers and business owners, and most of them were still in the church too. So my neighbors were always like very like rooted, and they were Caribbean, most of them too, so they were still like very grounded in like religion, right? So it was just like such a hard concept to me, like this dude that I've been messing with literally stole the furniture out of my house. Like wrapping my mind around that was such a hard concept. Fast forward, I run into him in the mall like 7 years later. Do you know he tried to say something to me? Yo, audacity, baby, audacity. I like, y'all, it was the craziest thing in the world. And I feel like that day, the day that that actually happened, I realized like, okay, this world is not what you think it is. And you really need to stop like seeing people the way that you, like in your mind, see it. And yeah, like that was like hella crazy for me. Super crazy. I don't feel like I had bad experiences like that after that. But I also feel like I was very like guarded after that. Probably because in my mind I was like, okay, this is a crazy world. Like you got to know you're dealing. No, you know what, y'all? The person I am today, the woman I am today that you guys see, is completely different from who I was then. Back then, I was a people pleaser. Back then, I would like put everyone before myself. Back then, I was kind of like, I was still a crash out to an extent, but I let a lot of people get away with a lot of things that the me today realized that you should never let people in your space that don't deserve to be there. Like the me today is a very different person because I've learned so much with making boundaries. Yes. But okay, so Edna, I think a lot of people see the me today as the person, the woman that I've developed into today, and can't see that, right? And I get it. But I also grew up in a Caribbean household. And I feel like when you grow up as a woman, period, you're kind of taught to be a people pleaser. But I feel like even more so when you grow up like in like a household from outside of the US, because it seems like it's so deep rooted and submissive and like kind of, I don't know, like as long as he's a good provider, you're supposed to like tolerate things. So just in life, period, you kind of like dim your own light, right? And I feel like as I've gotten older, and I have said this to even my father, I told my dad I will never date or marry a Jamaican man. And he was so offended. Now I love Jamaica. I love my people. But I realized that you, as a woman, you're raised to like just take what you're given. Like you almost don't really see your value. And once I realized that, and I went through a couple of things, I really started seeing things different. And I realized, first of all, you cannot be a people pleaser. You have to say no. Because I feel like a lot of us are raised to where it's very hard to say no. And we get ourselves in a lot of situations because we don't want to say no, because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So we end up doing things that we don't want to do. And then it's perceived as you consenting to it. But truthfully, you were raised to say yes. No was a bad word. And I feel like that concept, that once you really understand that as an adult, that you see no as a bad word, and so you don't say no to people, you realize like, all right, no. You put your boundaries up, because then it just, you're like, why am I living life afraid to say no to people? It just doesn't make sense. Bye, Elf. When that clicked to me, I realized like I have to create boundaries, like, because if also having a daughter, you don't want to teach your daughter that saying no is not okay. Like, when you realize, like, having kids, you want them to know that. Like, even my son, he's only 4 years old, but I tell him, don't tell people I love you that you don't love. You keep your hands to yourself. If someone tells you no, that means no. And I teach my daughter the same thing, because I feel like that gets lost sometimes. And I feel like that message is not strong enough to our children. And because that message isn't strong enough to children, you grow up to be an adult and you carry those same behaviors. And I tell my son that because I think there's a lot of men out here that tell women what they want to hear to get what they want. But if you raise your son to say, you don't say I love you to someone you don't love. You don't say I care for you if I don't care about you. You keep your hands to yourself. And if someone says no, or they look or feel uncomfortable, you back off. Period. I feel like they need to know that from such a young age, because it seems like really crazy when I'm hearing like what these kids are doing in these schools. Like, my daughter was telling me some stuff that I was like, you better let them kids know. And you know what's so funny, y'all? I hope this don't get me banned. Okay, so when I was younger, when bombing, like school bombings first happening or whatever, my mom would, school shootings first started happening, my mom said to me, you better not a day in your life go into that schoolhouse and terrorize anybody. She was like, I know that that's not what you're doing, but I'm making it very clear, if you do that, you don't have to worry about the police coming to get you. I will handle it myself. I was like, oh, okay. Now, keep in mind, I went to a private school, so I wasn't even on that type of time. Hold on 1 second. Are you leaving?
Is this okay to bring to? Oh, hey.
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
They can't even see you. Okay, but bring pajamas. And put it. You're getting grease from the chicken all over your dress. Is your uncle getting ready to take you now?
Yeah.
Okay, go put pajamas in your bag. Yes, I would have been. Listen, I would be terrified to come home if I did anything crazy. I wouldn't have even. I would have been more. Would be more worried about my mom and my dad than any police officer ever. Ever. Y'all, her and Gio love to see me on live. If y'all really understood my kids with me being on live, they love it. They eat it up. And Gio's a performer, so listen, a hot mess. But yes, Edna, that is so true. But I also think because the parents were raised the same, like we have to break the curses. So I know it's like they don't get taught those life lessons and they kind of like run free almost. And I also feel like there's such a double standard for boys versus girls. And I feel like there's more like we live in such a sexist world that I feel like the world tends to hold men, good night, and boys less accountable than they do girls. And I feel like accountability, you need to hold them to the same standard. You don't do this, you don't do that, and it needs to be the same across the board. Yeah.
Can I say something to the live?
No, because I don't know what it is that you're gonna say.
No, I was gonna say, can you guys give my mom gifts so she can get
No. Girl, you act
so
like
she
she's
can
so
get me a
crazy.
little bill?
No, girl, stop.
Okay.
She talking about I'm gonna get her a little boo. What is it? A little boo boo for Christmas, girl. I'm not just randomly getting you $100 stuffed toy, and you dry begging on a live. What is wrong with you? She asked me for a little boo boo this morning, and I was like, oh, okay. In my mind, I was like, I'll get it for her for Christmas. Like, and the fact that she went back in the house and came out to ask that is unhinged. What is wrong with her? Yes, Edna, boys will be boys type of attitude. And I just think that is such a downfall for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we have to do better with that. She did try. She did. You know, listen, what they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So I like, but child, hello. I'm like, I get it, but girl, you'll get the little boo boo for Christmas. I was already looking at stuff to get them for Christmas because I do want to just go ahead and get some stuff out of the way. And because I don't like the last minute thing. It just seems so hasty and so much coming up. Like, it seems like a lot. So I try to get a lot of stuff out of the way. But yeah, y'all, it's been a crazy week. And so I don't know if y'all heard, TikTok changed the guidelines, community guidelines. Oh, I want to tell you guys about something. Okay, so do you guys know about the lady in Georgia that called ICE on the 400 something South Koreans that came, like the techs, to build the infrastructure for Hyundai? Okay. Y'all. Now, this is random. One morning this happened to me. So this is what's going to be crazy about me telling you this. So one morning I am on TikTok and I was doing my makeup. So you know how like you are watching a live and then like another live comes up when that one ends? And because I was doing my makeup, I didn't switch it off, right? And so it's this guy and he's talking to someone and he's talking to the woman that called ICE daughter. Yes, the daughter was on live. Y'all, I don't even know where to start. So the daughter basically said that she um was not like all the way raised by her mom, and that she understands where everyone's coming from because her kids have all been a victim of the mom as well at some point. And yeah, she was married 5 times to 5 different men, and she always chose the men in her life over her kids, and she allowed things to happen that shouldn't have. She didn't specify what it was, but based off of what she said, to me it was an indication that they were probably sexually assaulted. And based off of what she said, that was the vibes that it was giving. So I don't quote me on that. I'm just telling you based on what she said and how she said it, it gave me those vibes. And she said that so much was happening, right? And so she said that she tries to protect her siblings, and she was like, I'm on here to speak about this because I've been getting like a lot of hate on my business page, and I don't agree with the things that my mom does. She was like, or she didn't even call her mom. She just called her by her name because she was kind of raised by the dad's wife. So she was saying like, how she's always been very selfish and she's never really been a good person, and that, she has younger siblings, like I think 2. Those are the only 2 that she's like actually raised those kids. And she's like going on and like telling everybody, and she's like, she genuinely sounded like a good person, and I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. So she seemed like she was very genuine with what she was saying, and she's a makeup artist, so I thought that was kind of crazy too. And she said that like on her business page, like there's all these horrible comments, and then while she was on the live, like her mom was like texting her, and then like her people were like over there trying to troll her, and they were like trying to dox her and stuff like that. Like, yes, okay. So there were so many people from Georgia that were on there, and they were like, I'm kind of like worried that this is gonna hurt like our local economy and stuff like that. And it was just crazy to hear the daughter speak, because she gave a lot of insight on her mom. And see, the thing that I thought was crazy was that even just the way everything played itself out, and like what the media said versus what actually really happened, was very interesting to me. And the fact that they were going to like release them, and the Trump administration wanted them to stay so that they could finish the work, and the South Korean government was like, yeah, nah, we're gonna charter a plane and just get them. So I'm like, dang, what is going to happen? Because those texts, there's like, you have to know, like their technology is insane. Yes, I agree with you, Edna. I don't even know if, I think it was just local Georgia. Like, I'm not saying he don't do any wrong, so don't. But well, first of all, I think things should have been handled very differently. But you know what? This is what I do want to talk about. The way South Korea said, no, we're going to send one of our nationals, and we're going to charter a plane and a bus to get them from the Georgia and Florida state lines to Hartsville, and we're going to fly them to South Korea on our own. you don't even have to worry about them. Like, if that's not giving, like when your mom be like, no, you over here at this friend's house and they don't know how to act, get in the car, let's go. Like, I thought that was like such a boss move. And like, it really, to me, really showed what it means when your government really cares about its citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, for them to really just say, nah, although we know you're overseas, we're gonna send somebody out there to come get you. You don't gotta worry about it. Yes, I saw the karma collector, so I don't know that much about him. And y'all know, after the things that have happened on this internet, I am very reluctant to trust something with no receipts. Now, look, and I almost feel crazy for saying this. I feel so unhinged, and I feel like I am this close to a straitjacket saying this to y'all. But I truly am unsure if she had a baby. So, and don't get me, okay? Don't get me. Okay, don't get me for that, because I know it sounds crazy and I know it sounds unhinged. There was no footage, nothing. I don't know, y'all. It just do seem a little suspicious. Oh, and Bree has been on live. Did y'all see that she came on there with like a beard and like some hair, saying she was a man? Look, I'm not saying that there's not a baby. What I'm saying is I am not comfortable enough to say, and I just feel crazy saying it. I do. I feel very crazy saying that to y'all. But something has never sat right with me. No, that's the thing. I don't feel like we can prove it. But I also feel like, no shade, but who the hell would give her a baby? Would you really let a baby come out your coochie to give it to Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Even if it was somebody else's egg, would you in good conscience birth a child and hand it over to Gypsy? Thank you. I just, y'all, the toothbrush fiasco, what really blew me about the toothbrush fiasco is when she said, you act like nobody else has done that with a toothbrush. Nah, I have never in my life thought about that. That hasn't even been a thought to me. What else can I do with this toothbrush? That's never entered my brain. Like, ever. Like, never, ever. So what? Like, that's not even a thought process to me. Like, this toothbrush could be used as a, oh yeah, why even go to the X store? I could just use this toothbrush. That's not a thought in my mind. Like, that's not, that has never ever entered my brain. So that was crazy. But what was even crazier to me is in the emails when she was talking about the bananas. Talking about what she did with the bananas that she had at breakfast. I was like, girl, if you are like that with food, You out here giving it to everybody. You don't hold back from nobody. Because, baby, what? Now, with the whole Ken with thing with Ken being in rehab, I don't know. Okay, because they did see him at dinner or whatever, or out to lunch. Now, I know you could leave a rehab, right? Like with family or something. But I don't know what to think. Like, I really don't know what to think. She can show her face because that girl has no shame. Well, I think she has been very quiet too because, ooh, I got some other tea. Wait. I just forgot about this. I was on the phone with Ivory last night. Ivory was like, Bree's on live. I was like, oh, call me on Messenger and let's see what's up. Bree is on there full blown crying about something, saying it had been a rough week. And I mean crying. And to the point she had to get off. And the people that were like on the live with her were like, just call us so we could talk about it. What y'all think that's about? What do y'all think that's about? Baby, I think something's not right. Something's not right. I wouldn't be surprised with that because when you really think about it, Bree is responsible for about 80% of Gypsy's demise because she's instigated so much. A lot of people wouldn't have realized how bad she was so soon if Bree was not out on the internet being a donkey. Like, legit, when you have friends like that, who needs enemies? Like, and I just feel like the irony of Sheena looking like Dee Dee is the most diabolic part of all of this. Like, really, it's so uncanny. Like, it's so uncanny that you just almost sit there like, is this a joke? Like, is Ashton Kutcher gonna pop out? Because it is just entirely too uncanny. It's just so weird. And I do think they were going to do a special with Lifetime. I don't know this for sure, okay? But I do think after those emails were released and they found out that she was the source. Because also, I think I posted that live where Gypsy was on live. And she said that she wanted to, like, she became idol, like, herself. You know that was manipulation. Like, she was trying to just manipulate the public. Because she said that was the time she ended up going to Austin because of that. That Austin trip was planned. Y'all remember she was planning that trip? So how do you say Ken said, let's just get in the car and go to visit my mom when she had already been telling us she planned that trip? Not only that, you recorded packing the car. If you were really in that state of mind, you would not have done all of that. But the fact that you intentionally came on the internet to manipulate the public like that and weaponize that, that is really crazy. Like, it really, I think it really just shows you who she is as a person. And I think there's, it's, there's too many things that are questionable. First of all, that haircut, it gave a straight Karen haircut. Like, she legit looks like she's a greeter at the Walmart that be having people searched and they bought the stuff. Like, she gives those vibes. Like, that haircut, and then the wigs that she be putting on after. Like, the wigs, them things are plastic to death. Like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, everything about it just seems off. Very off. I don't know. It just, I can't tell you exactly what I think happened with her having that baby, but Karma Collector might not be too far off. Okay. So I just feel like, I don't know, it was just so weird. And that time she was on that live for that long, we didn't hear a crying baby. We didn't. Also, remember when she had her show going? Like, when she was holding that baby, it never really seemed like she had really been around it before that. Or like for any length of time. Like, I don't know, it just seemed odd. And it might just be me, but I feel like when you're a new mom, like when you're holding a baby that's that young, like, you never really want to let them go, and you're like the most patient because they're babies. And like, that's the age where they're so fun and like, you know, because you're just holding them. Then you don't really have to do much other than make a bottle, change your diaper. Like, it's not like, it seemed very, yes, unfamiliar to her. And I always question it from that. But like I said, I feel very crazy saying that. No, I didn't go out to drink when I had my daughter at all. And the few times I may have went out with my friends when she was like maybe 9, 10 months old, I really didn't want to leave her. You know, that is interesting that you say that, Sunkist. Yeah, she does barely. And even like the way she refers to her, the way she speaks about her, like the situation, um I don't know, just something just seems very, very off to me. It just doesn't seem like, I don't know, I can't make sense out of it. Thank you, Carmen. I can't make sense out of it, and I can't put my finger on it, but something about it doesn't make sense. Boss lady, I think it was because Lifetime required something else. Because think about it this way. If she didn't have a baby, would she have really had another season? Her show was boring. And let's be honest, that first season with Ryan was the best part because there was drama happening. If that was the most drama that was happening for the show, you know what I'm saying? Like, really think about it. But how do we got to know that there's a baby for sure first. Hey, Michelle. And I know that sounds crazy. And I know Gypsy probably gonna get on live and be like, y'all it's so crazy. You think that I don't have a baby and I had a baby. You saw my baby. But I'm just saying. It may not be that all. I'm just saying. Like, there may be some truth to what Karma Collector says. I don't know that. I can't prove that. I am not saying. I'm just saying that there may be some truth to that. I don't know. Okay? I really do not know. But there could be some truth to that. So I can't say one way or another because I don't know. But I feel like we just gotta kind of and I don't know if I think it'll ever really come out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, because the fact that the birth, like, well, I don't know. You think the paternity test thing is really a sham? I don't see. That's where I'm like, I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's like once I go down a rabbit hole, it's like I start thinking to myself, but I just don't know. I really don't know. Like because I think one of the things that is probably been the biggest red flag to me about it is just the simple fact that there was no actual footage of her at the hospital, whether it was a home video, right? Whether it was anything, nothing. So it's like it went from this and skipped to this. And all while that was happening, the hacker came, this came, that came, all of this was happening. So chaos came in between that time. She didn't have a hospital bag packed. Like, none of that. Like, don't you normally pack like a hospital bag like weeks ahead of time and have it to the side just in case? There was none of that. Like, it seemed the hacker situation was like a very odd situation, and the fact that Christy lied about the hacker situation and about Gypsy being in the hospital or anything like that, hey, it makes it seem even odder. Like, there's a lot of things that make you question it. That is another thing. Okay, doctor's appointments. Nobody's ever caught a picture of the baby. Nobody's seen the baby. Not one single picture. Not one. Leaving in and out. Yes, the bump appearing and disappearing. Like, those are the things that seem suspicious. It's like the optics around it. It just seems like something was off, and you can't put your finger on it, but something just doesn't seem right. And for a baby that has had so many doctor's appointments, it's just odd that nobody's caught them going into the doctor's office or in the waiting area. Or we're not talking about Kim Kardashian's baby. Lexi, who are you? And you may be seeing a baby, how you know it's her baby. Maybe they wouldn't do it now, but they would have done it at one point. You get what I'm saying? Like, early on. Why am I so angry? What? Adventures, I don't know that for sure. I just feel like there's sketchy things. Does that make sense? Like, I can't say one way or another. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's just very, very odd. Like, there's too many things that are odd because stuff normally makes sense. And when things don't make sense, there's normally something to it. And when somebody tries to convince you that it makes sense, when you can see with your own two eyes that it doesn't, that's even more of a question. Does that make sense? I actually think if she was actually pregnant, she was actually taking like medicine that she wasn't supposed to be taking while she was pregnant to lose weight. I don't know who you are at all. You told me about Ivy Rose. Who? Who are you? I don't know anyone named Lexi other than my mod. What did you tell me about? Oh, hey! You physically saw the baby, Lexi? I remember. I'm sorry, girl. Oh, sorry. But how you know it's her baby? That like that's the thing. The digital, it just seems. I don't know because there's also a neighbor that lives close. I'm not gonna say how close, okay? But I'm going to say lives close. And they said they've seen a car seat, but they've never actually seen a baby. So I don't know. Hey, Sunny. I just don't know. Like I don't know. Mm. And that may be it too, why she hasn't shown it. Like, is that because if she has that, then she would really have to, she wouldn't be able to disguise what she, like, the way she tries to, like, when she said she had a micro deletion, but it's like very low, when she didn't have any symptoms or stuff like that, she like she downplays it. Maybe she would have to, she would have to be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I think she would have sold pictures in the beginning, but I also feel like now nobody's going to buy those pictures. That's funny. Ooh, that makes sense, Lexi, because you know the thing with babies is they're supposed to hit certain milestones, and the milestones to me are like very clear, and they're normally like maybe a week or two before or after, like maybe delayed. Like, I'll give you guys an example. My daughter was born at 36 weeks. She is a July baby. So in every class that she's in, she's always the youngest in that class. So she started preschool. She was going to a private Christian preschool at 2. And like I want to say like 3 or 4 months in, the teacher was like, "Oh, I think you should have her tested." She was like, "It seems like there's a slight," like, because she wasn't saying like a maybe she was closer to 3. No, like 2.5. She wasn't saying sentences. She was just saying a word here and there, but she wasn't putting words together. Okay. And so the teacher was like, like, girls normally start, like, just maybe have her evaluated and, like, let's see, right? And so I was like, okay. So I scheduled an evaluation. Okay. The night before the evaluation, and I kid you not, the night before, she said, "Mommy, Lonnie wanna go night-night." I just looked at her and was like, "Are you fucking with me?" In my head. Like, now you wanna say a sentence? You done had me stressed out for the last month and a half until this appointment came up. And now you say a whole sentence the night before? The night before. Needless to say, she goes, I still have her evaluated, and they said she had like a 5-week delay. And they were like, it makes sense because she was born at 30, I just hit 36 weeks when I had her. So, or like a month and a half delay or something like that. So it made sense because they were like, well, you know, it might be like that for another year, and then after that she should be fine, but let's see how she does. Like, they were like, I don't think she needs like any assistance or anything like that. So like in a year or so, if you still feel like there's something wrong, then bring her back, but right now she seems fine. You see, ain't nothing wrong with her now, but when you see like significant delays like that, that kind of makes sense. Now she looked like Ryan. Lexi, please don't take me on this rabbit hole to feel like I need to be in a straitjacket scratching my back with my big toe. Lexi, you stressing me out. Because now I'm like, wait. See, that's why I always say, like, I just feel like a crazy person talking about it. Because I just feel, y'all know what I mean. Because I know it's not just me. It's not just me. That's crazy, Lexi. Okay. Well, I think if they had a test saying it's not his, then what can he do? Exactly. Gypsy is such a liar that you really don't know what's what. Wait, Gypsy texted Ryan that the baby was his? I don't remember that part. When did that happen? I feel like I vaguely remember something like that, like right after she had the baby. I vaguely, vaguely, vaguely remember that. I do remember hearing something, but I don't remember what. But like that sounds familiar to an I just can't remember it all. Yes, I remember she texted him that she was pregnant initially and said, I think he said that was in April, right? Yes, I want to tell you, he said like something like April something. She texted him saying she was pregnant. I'm pretty sure he said that at one point. Okay, thank you. I want to tell you, I remember. Mm, I'm trying to think. I remember him saying that she did text him that she was pregnant in April or something like that. Because remember, even Zora spoke about that. Like, all of the, like, her friends in jail or something like that, she told them they knew before anyone knew, allegedly. Do y'all remember that? Yes, Megan, I do remember that. I do remember that. But see, that's the thing. So much has happened, and she plays so many games that I feel like things become kind of cloudy. Does that make sense? Yes, I remember the inmates knowing. Like her telling Zora, I think Zora said she told her. Hiding by the produce. I'm dead. I'm dead. The produce. Lexi, you play way too much. Right behind the bananas. I cannot. You're taking me out. Y'all, I'm telling you, I just don't know what, because I just know it's too much that has happened. So, Lexi, you saw her there with Gypsy. Who'd you see her there with? Was she by herself? Was the person there by themselves? Not me waiting like I'm on the phone, waiting on a text or something. Me nosy as hell. That is so funny. Me, Lexi, I need you to type faster. Because I'm super nosy. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Ken nor Gypsy would be good parents. At first, I thought Ken would be. Okay. Um, at first I thought Ken would be, but after the Frosty the Blowman stuff, that's nuts. Like, really think about that. Like, we literally seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, after that, I just was like, that's not, not, yes. Sunkiss, that's exactly what it is. And that's another reason why I feel like Gypsy's talking to Ryan. I don't know if they're seeing each other, but I feel like they're talking, they're having conversation. Because the way he has been on his lives, like, I haven't seen recent ones, but before, he had like a slight arrogance that made me feel as though he was having some sort of conversation with her. Like a one up to Ken. Like, it wasn't a direct, but it was very indirect. I knew that. And I actually think they're going to get back together. And she'll use him for a little bit. But now that he don't have a job, how is that supposed to go? Yeah, because when he was saying that he was still team like Gypsy to an extent, I was like, so you gonna let this girl play in your face? Like the way she been playing in your face? Gypsy been playing in that man's face. Oh, yeah, the cameos. But I don't even, you can't, you can't talk about that on TikTok now. Like, he cannot, like, take anyone off the app. Like, TikTok is not one of those apps now that you can push you being on another platform. You will get banned for that. Like, where here you could talk about being on another platform, you cannot have that discussion. Exactly, Sunkissed. He is feeling secure for a reason. That's exactly what I was saying. It's like something's just not right. And that makes me feel like I am very good at reading people and following patterns and behaviors. And his patterns and behaviors indicate to me that he's talking to her. And yes, I would say it's foolish, but I think he has such low self esteem that he appears very confident, but it's for show. And that's where I say it comes to you valuing yourself, to put your limits down, to say, like, I am not going to let anyone treat me like this. Like, I don't. Because until you put limits down, you literally attract narcissists. Like, even if he left her alone, he would attract another narcissist. Because until, I always say that there's lessons that come in your life, and if you don't learn that lesson when you are supposed to learn that lesson, it's going to keep revisiting you in different people. Like, the same problem is going to come up in different people until you learn that lesson. I Well, I mean, I kind of feel like he would do that now because he doesn't have a job, so I kind of get it. But I mean, if people are gifting him, then they do what they do. Yes, Megan. And that's the thing that's really bad, is that I feel like he doesn't have boundaries. So he's an easy target because people like her target people like him. You know, it's sad, but it's true. Yeah, but I feel like he's not confident enough in himself to do that. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I don't know, there's something, you have to be in a certain place to be able to allow people to use you like that. And I just feel like that's pretty much what it is. No, Carmen, at all. And you, you know when something is performance versus when it's authentic, right? Because when it's authentic, you don't have to say it, right? Like you don't, it's kind of like a boss. If they're constantly saying, I'm your boss, you do what I say. A real boss never has to tell you, I'm your boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, anything after that is performative. And he probably doesn't even really want to allow her to do those things, but he don't want to say no. And he feels like what they had before is authentic. Because think about it this way. This might kind of help. You know when you first start dating a narcissist, everything seems perfect. They're showing you the best of them. And so when things start going downhill, you're stuck on the good times you had. And you're always thinking to yourself, if we could get back to the good times, not realizing those good times was a performance. And so you're always chasing those good times that was a stage. I feel like that's kind of what's happening. In his mind, he's like, well, she has to love me. She was doing X, Y, and Z before her. Right? Like, I feel like that's where he's at. And so he's not truly, I don't even think it really clicks to him that she cannot love someone because she does not love herself. And you can't give something that you don't have. Like, and two broken people are like a cell phone with no service. All you could do is play games. Like you can't do anything else but play games. Like nothing about that relationship could be authentic because you can't give something you don't have. And I feel like that's where he's at, is that he's still stuck on what they had when she was in prison and feeling like it was so authentic that he truly does not, even though she hurt him all those times, she is going to say, well, I hurt you because you hurt me, or I hurt you because I thought you didn't care about me anymore. And because narcissists are always going to make you feel like you were the problem. You get what I'm saying? So like it's almost like a hold on you that they have on you mentally. And like, you ever got out of a relationship and you look back at the relationship and you were like, was I drunk? What would make me be with it? Lexi, I didn't see that part of the emails. Lexi, that's exactly what it is. Gypsy makes him feel confident. And when somebody makes you feel confident, that's like a high. So you're going to go back to somebody that constantly does something bad to you because you're chasing that high, that confidence, that feeling. It's a feeling that you think is authentic. And I know that just sounds so crazy, like saying it, A lot of people are in toxic situations because their perspective. And I'm going to give you guys this example. I'm not friends with this person anymore, but I was friends with this person. And she will talk about what's wrong in the relationships, or like it's like she's, you ever met a woman that's male centered? And so like everything that they do is centered around a man. And when a woman is male centered, they never actually truly have their own identity. And when things go wrong in their relationship, they see everything that that person did wrong, but they never see anything that they did. And that's because of the simple fact that they're so used to toxic situations that they don't realize some of their behaviors are toxic. Does that make sense? And I say that because this friend of mine, or old friend, used to say stuff about her relationships and like the guy she was talking to. And she'd say stuff like, you know, she was hanging out with this guy, she met him in a club, and they were dating. Well, if you met this dude in a club, did you think this was going to be a long-term relationship? Like, let's be for real. You met him in a club. So when you're at home, you don't think his ass is still in that club? Like, you literally create your own. Then she's like, oh my gosh, he's still in the club. Like, I called him and he didn't answer the phone, and somebody told me, well, yeah, you met him there. Where else do you think he was going to be at? Like, what else did you think he was going to be? Like, that just sounds nuts to me. Like, if you meet him there, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to veer too far off from there. Like, let's be for real. And she would say stuff like that. And I would say to her, like, you have to be very intentional about who you date, how you date, and how you go about things. Because men are very intentional. So if you're not intentional with what you do, they're going to play games with you. And if you can find a horse, ride it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you think about it, she met him in prison. And when we see those emails where he was like wanting to like pretty much be her slave and kind of do, like, it told you about his self-esteem. That's why when people were saying like he was trying to manipulate her, no, he literally has low self-esteem. And it shows up in the way he devalues himself to put her on this pedestal. That's so funny, boss lady. You're cracking me up. That's so funny. Yeah, Gypsy never takes accountability for anything. She never will, because nobody ever will ever hold her accountable. And when there's people like that in the world, they're never ever accountable for their actions. Yes, he has an addictive personality for sure. For sure. And I think the thing about Gypsy, it may not even really be that he's infatuated with her to an extent. It may be the fact that he lost something at the hands of Ken in his head. And in his mind, I have to win. Because think about it. Ken and Ryan talk about boxing each other. Why don't y'all box her ass? Y'all stay wanting to fight each other. Make it make sense. Like, she is the one in the middle, but y'all make it make sense. Like, when you really think about it, she sets up situations. Even when she did that video, remember when she said, Ryan is my comfort, but Ken is my love. Girl, did you really sit your ass up on this internet and say that this man is your comfort, but that man is your love? And everybody thinks that shit is normal? That is not normal. That is not normal. Like, first of all, it really shows the level of you use people to get what you want. And if somebody comforts you, you're saying you'll keep them around because it makes you feel good. You don't give a damn about nobody else. Yeah, and I think they both have addictive behaviors, which is very interesting to me. That is very interesting. Michelle, you know what? This is what I think about Ken. I think there is something that Gypsy has on Ken why he didn't leave her. Because he's seen what Gypsy has done to Ryan to destroy him. Oh yeah, shoot. Although I don't think she could capitalize on TikTok anymore because of their new community guidelines. So she could create content, but I don't think she'll make money off of it. I just feel like there's something that she has on him. There's something. It's something. And if he's truly Frosty the Blowman, which I'm pretty sure he is, imagine what she know. Edna, I sure hope it is, because she should absolutely be a case study to get in the mind of someone like that. Because I don't feel like there's very many people in this world that are that unhealthy, let's say. Especially a woman. Like, a lot of the traits she displays are not feminine traits. Most women are never that unemotional and uncaring, and like, most women, even when we don't want to care, we care. Even when we're like, okay, I shouldn't care, this shouldn't bother me, I have every reason to not care, but I still care a little bit. Like, do you know how many people were mad at me the other day? They sent me a message on TikTok. Okay, so I did a video. I'll probably post it here. I think I uploaded it. But I did a video about the farmers in Arkansas that are losing their farms. Now, I know some people are going to be like, okay, they wanted this, blah, 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 blah. But hear me out. Because we know that basically this was a setup for major corporations to steal their farms from them, I would rather them not lose it. And I know y'all are going to say, why? I just would rather not have these major corporations do it, because, like, if they do it to them, who's next? Right? Like, really sit and think about that, right? So I did a video on, like, all the options farmers could have. Like, some of the options were like co-oping and like buying the farms off of each other, just to pay the taxes off so that they could keep their farms. Or another option was to sell it for their taxes plus like extra, that way they don't just lose it for being behind. Or like putting it in a trust so it keeps it away from Wall Street, and then they can kind of like figure out their stuff, right? And so many people were so upset at me, and I was like, I get where you're coming from, but I just feel like I would rather them not lose it. Like, I know that sounds like I know. People are, I know. But I look at it, the big picture. I look at the big picture, and I feel like when a system is set up to screw people, I would rather the system not win. Does that make sense? Because let's be honest, and I'm saying this with all due respect. I'm not trying to be rude and I'm not trying to insult anyone. But I think a lot of these people that are saying, like, I didn't know this, I didn't know this, it's because of reading comprehension and understanding what is happening. And I think a lot of these people aren't really, like, really understanding the repercussions and whatever preconceived notions they have about people and systems in their head. Oh, what? Mm, okay, Rachel, have a great day. So that was the main reason why I was like, I just don't. Yeah, I feel like you have to pick between the lesser of two evils. Does that make sense? I always feel like that. Like you, because you know everything in life is like you're playing. It's like you're playing chess, right? Like everything is a chessboard. So it's like it has to have strategy. Does that make sense? So if you don't have a strategy in place, I just never want people to be screwed because of a system. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think at the end of the day, most people really want the same thing. It's just the understanding is different. Does that make sense? Yes, baby, you can come. Come, Bubba's. Okay, in a little bit, okay? Um, I think it's crazy how I think it's weird because again, I'll say it like I always say it. Tupac always said, like, it's not all government is government. Does that make sense? They're like the mafia. Like, and I think if we really understood that, people would see things different and we'd be more united. Like, if we really realized, like, it should be us versus the system versus, because politicians are politicians. They're going to say whatever is going to get them what they need to get. Like, that's just the reality. It's like a lawyer going into court. Whatever they have to do to get their client to win, they're going to do. And so I feel like it's just about that at the end of the day, you know? So, anyways, yeah, so Ryan be really tripping. And I think it's interesting that he, first of all, the other morning, Ivory was like, I hopped on TikTok and he was still on there. This is like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, she said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what? 7 o'clock in the morning, homeboy said, I'm clocking into TikTok. I don't know what you talking about. What job you talking about? No, I can't really. I can't watch him like that. Just because I see where it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think the smartest thing he could have ever done is wrote a book. Simple. I wouldn't even tell him to do like a series of content. No, write a book and get your bag. Hey, Rachel. I really think that's what it should have been, is write a book. I would have called it Surviving Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the girl who unalived her mom. And I would have told everything. I would have had the emails in the book, everything. I would have even told on myself. But I feel like him doing so much on TikTok, it makes it to where he can't release a book now because people wouldn't appreciate it. I think at the time, if he would have did it before, people would have bought it. And so I think it just like as a, you have to strike while the iron's hot. And I don't feel like he played his cards right. Which, Megan, I think that was really silly. I really think that was really silly for him to wait for her to come back, knowing that in the meantime she was talking about you and trying to get you, had you lose 2 jobs. Like, does she have kryptonite in her coochie? Because I don't understand. Like, make it make sense. Like, oh yeah, once I started seeing that he was like saying he was gonna be her slave and all that, I was like, I can't watch no more of this. I can't watch no more of this. Like, what? I was like, yeah, this is too much. But y'all, I'm gonna go inside because I'm gonna make Gio a grilled cheese sandwich. I know he was upstairs with my mom, but he's asked me to come in and make him a grilled cheese sandwich. So I'm gonna go in and spend some time with him because my daughter went to her best friend's house. My podcast will be up. I'm going to be live in the chat on Monday. It's at, I think it's 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. My podcast will air. I posted it. Y'all go like it. Go like, it shows the premiere of it. Go actually like it. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I may come back tomorrow because I was thinking about doing a makeup tutorial on YouTube, like a live makeup tutorial, and I might do that tomorrow. So I'll see you guys. Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching. I do, and I'm gonna post my video. I have a video that uploaded. I just need to put the stuff together, but I'll post it in a little bit. Oh, cool, Michelle. Yes, a new podcast with Ivory Rose knows. It's called The Soft and the Savage. Bye, y'all. Ooh, I don't know how to get out.